Hello, Guru Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Clinical Trials Guru. This will also go on the podcast, Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru. I've got a physician, PI, site owner from Florida, Dr. Gonzalez. We're going to get into her story, who she is, how she got started. She's been a client of ours. One of our success stories, one of our best success stories. We've only been consulting for 4 years, but she was like one of our first. I've interviewed other success stories in the past, but she, in a saturated market of South Florida, is doing extremely well. We're going to get into who she is, how their site is set up, and just talk about some of the challenges that go into opening a clinic, because a lot of people watching or listening have the idea, Dr. Gonzalez, hey, I want to start a clinic. I take this calls every day, and most of them are unrealistic. They have no money to pay for their personal life, and they expect a study next month, and that's not the way it works. So and you've been successful,
Right.
but you've made lots of sacrifices, and it took
hmm
about 2 years to get to where you are now. So first of all, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
And let's talk about who you are. Like, who are you? How did you get started? When did you become a doctor? Give us your story a little bit.
Well, my name is Janice Gonzalez. Actually, I live here in South Florida. I am a physician in internal medicine, and my husband is also a physician. Also internal medicine and kidney specialist. So we're kind of two doctors we met in Pennsylvania. We did our residency in Pennsylvania. We moved down Florida like 2014. We were working down there in a hospital as inpatient doctors. Then we moved down here to South Florida. We kind of start working, but we wanted to have our own. So we opened the office as a private practice for myself and for my husband. But we were not being successful. We used to work extra shift just to keep up with expenses, to pay the rent. We actually bought the office, to pay the mortgage of the office that we bought back in 2016. And the insurance were not paying, efficiently. Yeah, we were literally kind of starving. We didn't have enough money to keep up. At some point, we almost rent the office and went back to our, life in a hospital. But I started then working. My husband used to work back in Pennsylvania doing as a sub investigator, and when he was a fellow. He kind of have experience in that. And I have also in my residency, I was helping one of my attending also in my hospital in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And I'm kind of had an idea, but I didn't know how to do it by myself. So I kind of started working with another site as a PI, as a subcontractor. And I said, that's it. I am signing the 1572. I am the responsible person. I read the protocol. I am very responsible, and I want to do this on my own. So, but how do I get the contracts? How do I get the studies? And I don't know anybody. So I kind of started looking around and making phone calls and going to that clinical trials website, like hours, 12 hours. I would spend 3 hours literally in front of clinical trials, emailing those people to tell them, hey, this is me and this is my husband, and we're interested and we're committed. And we never got nothing. One day, then I start watching Dan, I start watching you, and I say, let me give you a try. And my husband told me, just don't think this is going to be better than writing to that website. And I say, I like the way they talk. They are passionate. Well, like they do it like I am. So I kind of felt connected to you somehow, and to Chris, and I say, he has something that I have. I don't know. I want to give them a try. I'm going to pay them for 1 year and see what happens. I'm going to give the opportunity. If in 1 year I don't get anything, I told my husband, then that's it. And I start kind of making the payment, and he kind of forgot about it, and me, I forgot about it too. Like whatever, like just then I started having monthly, feedback from you, like, hey, we send your information for this and this and that and that. At some point, then I got my first trial. It was a trial it was Alzheimer's trial, is with a good company, excellent company. And they called me and they said, do you have experience? I'm like, well, I have experience with Alzheimer's patients and I kind of know some skills, but, I do my best,
Wow. But let's talk about, okay, so there's a lot there. So how long you hired us to do your biz dev? How long until you got your first site selection visit? Because everyone asks. So how long was that for you?
For that, I remember I started, I think it was like, I got the first call on month 4. I think it was like after, yes, it was, I am in Miami, South Florida. There is too many of us begging for a trial. They're not going to call me because I am special. I am just another PI or another site who is trying to prove themselves. And they don't want
that. Now you're special.
No, now it's a different story because you have to prove yourself.
Right.
This is me, and this is how hard I work, and this is how perfectionist I am, and this is how serious I take my job.
Wow. So 4 months. Okay.
So after 4 months in this area, I'm sure if it's St. Louis, Missouri, you will get a study after a week. And talk to you. In those areas that, let's say,
the Midwest is super good. I'm jealous of all those people there. California's like Miami, not as saturated, but it's almost the same.
So actually, for being in Miami, it's not bad because I actually got my first trial from you. 4 months, like the phone call, the feasibility.
Wow.
2 months later, I got the site qualification, and then like a month later. I got that was like February 2017, actually. I got the site initiation.
Was that your first study that you've ever had for your own business?
No, I have done, like I said, for my own business, yes.
Yes.
For my own business. I had actually another one. It was a dialysis trial that we were struggling because my husband is a kidney doctor and somebody referred that and we were suffering for the amount of serious adverse event that we have to report. Dialysis trial, they are difficult trials, or like oncology trials, because people are so sick and they are dying every week, or they are hospitalized every week, that you just live to report serious adverse events.
Yeah.
So we were kind of, my husband was like, this is not worth it. Let's try to, if we do a dialysis trial, let's try not to be top enroller, because we were kind of being top enroller in that trial. And, yes, we were having good income at that moment, but we were going crazy. We would literally have to hire an next practitioner to help us with the serious adverse events. But that is kind of that trial, as I said, it wasn't that successful because of that. It was taking too much of our time.
Okay.
So whatever income I was getting, I was literally hiring people just to get the job done.
So this study, the one that we got you, I guess your first, we did the budget, I think, right? We did the budget.
Right. It's the budget. Yes,
Chris is good at that. I used to do all of it, but Chris actually enjoys that. I don't enjoy the negotiating. Everyone thinks I'm like a business person. I am, but I actually do not enjoy negotiating.
Right.
Chris is really good at that, though. Now, what was your staff during that study? Did you already have a coordinator, or is it just you and your husband?
Me and a friend of mine who volunteered to help me. She's like, fine, I'll do it. I say, hey, I don't know if this is going to work. We have that other trial that, we had another person to do it. But, this is my first trial. The other one was my husband's trial. So I hired a friend of mine who was a coordinator for another. And then I started kind of paying her the minimum, And then little by little, she told me, don't worry, about this Alzheimer's trial. When worst comes to worst, you make money out of the screen failures.
Yeah.
I am like, don't be so negative, Hopefully, I get some PET, because you need to have the PET positive or the CSF positive.
Yeah. We have the same one. I think they pay for the screen failures, all of them. Now for this study, um, how did they? Because neither you or your husband are psychiatrists. So how did you convince them that you're a good site for Alzheimer's? Like when they came to your site, I mean, I think they were desperate for sites, but
You know what? They initially told me no. No,
really?
yes, they told me no. They told me no. You are internal medicine. You don't have any background on doing skills. You are just you are not good for us. And then I say, you know what? I send them back an email. This is my subcontractor, CV. He's a nurse who was working with another site, and he has done tons of Alzheimer trials, schizophrenia trials, or a lot of psych trials. So he wasn't even a doctor. He was just a nurse, an RN who had a lot of experience. So, and then I kind of talked to him and say, can you help me, helping me, this trial? You can work with me as a subcontractor, but I will need you to your CV and stuff. So he's fine. He sent me his CV. I sent my CV and his CV, and I say, hey, this person is working with me. If you think he's good, then we're ready. If not, thank you for your time. And then they wrote me back and said, you're good. We're good. We like him. We like his CV.
Was that before or after the site selection visit?
No, that was before.
Before, okay.
Because at the beginning they called me, I'm not a psychiatrist. And they're like, then in that case, thank you very much, but, we don't need you. And I said, yeah, but I have a psychiatry nurse that I know that he has a lot of experience, and I'm going to be the PI, but he's going to be with me. And then they say, okay, that's fine then.
Wow. So you've got to figure out what they want. And now you have a less of a hard time getting your next Alzheimer's and the one after that and the one. So
it's easy. Now for me, it's easy because I am very, literally when you do 12 hours a day, something, you become a specialist at it. And I became so, a specialist talking about the exclusion criteria. I memorized by heart the exclusion criteria. So because anytime you lose a patient, then you lose business.
Yeah.
The business is on the randomization. Of course, you still make a profit on this failure, but that's not where the growth is. Number one, you want the company to have a good impression on you, and how do you make that? You have to randomize and keep. So I became a specialist on looking at patient records and make sure they didn't have an exclusion criteria, like history of a stroke or history of, uncontrolled diabetes, or, looking at, QRS. That's a big one that they wouldn't want the patient, or a prohibited medication. I would talk to the patient and say, hey, you cannot be on that medication. And then the other thing I did, of course, I have done a lot of lumbar puncture in my residency, and then I kind of started calling interventional radiology to do my lumbar punctures, but they were charging me so much, like $1,500, and I said, you know what? Let me give it a try myself and see how I do, because I've done it so much in the past, that I cannot let fear. So I start talking to the patient. And the first one, I get it right in 1 minute. So I like, okay, that's it. This is my fear. It's done. I'm going to do it myself. And I screened 100 patients, and I think I did LP like in at least 80 patients.
Were you top enroller in that study?
Yes, I screened 100 patients and randomized 30 patients.
Wow.
I had a sponsor audit, and we did good. We did great. We did great. We have little, minimal things like, in the delegation log, there is one of those numbers that wasn't marked. Those minimal things, one time, we did something that was, something when you are in the real life out there, you make some mistakes, even if you don't want. Let's say one time we gave a patient a informed consent that wasn't updated. You know, we have to do a CAPA for that. This prevention plan.
Yeah.
So
now,
and everything is good.
Do you do full-time research, or are you splitting it, your private practice? You still have a private practice and you do research?
I stopped my private practice. I just quit.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
How about your husband? He's the private practice?
No, he did the same thing. He used to have his own dialysis patients, and
So
he kind
full-time
of
research now. Okay.
of us. Yes.
That's fantastic, because a lot of doctors are out there, and they're, they might be watching, or they all want to do research, but I think because when you first started, you were doing both private practice and research, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So only once the business starts doing well, then you're like, hey, I'm I I'm making more ROI here than in my private practice. I'd rather just continue to focus all my effort here. And you guys
Right.
have the thing that everyone cares about. The only thing everyone cares about in this industry is PI oversight. And if you're
Right.
dedicated full time to this, I mean, I'll tell you right now, you're better than 95% of sites as far as PI oversight. If you're there and that's all you do,
There. Right.
that's 95% better than anyone else out there. Like, you're in the top 5% when it comes to PI oversight, in my opinion. Because we have doctors, I mean, we have clients, we have our own doctors, but they have private practice. Then they have hospital rounds, nursing
Right.
home. But there's benefits there too, because it helps us with the recruitment also.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yes. Yes. It is. It has the negative part is that we kind of we have some friends and we just say, hey, take our patients. We don't have time to see them anymore because I either go there and review the serious adverse events or review my papers or out on top of things with the regulatory, making sure because we have to, like you say, we start from zero. So
Mm.
we now have a good regulatory person. But at the beginning, I was doing it myself.
You were doing everything.
Yes.
With
Yes.
Chris negotiating the budgets, right?
Chris away from me. He is excellent. He got me the numbers that I didn't even expect myself. I
Yeah,
was
see, we tell all the clients that, because when you get your first study, you're so excited, you don't want to negotiate too much. You're scared that they're gonna not use you, but that never happens. They give you like so many warnings, and then if you
right.
just continue insisting, it's like 10 times they'll tell you no, this is it, and then finally they'll say no, we can't do it. It's not like you're gonna ask for more and they're gonna say no, actually we don't want you anymore. That's not how it works.
No, it doesn't work. In reality, they don't care about the difference in the dollars. They don't care. They they don't care if I have to pay 1,000 versus 1,500. They don't care. What they care is that you do everything correct and that you follow the protocol and that you're ready for an FDA audit, that you're ready for it, so they're like, we don't mind about the money, we mind about things are done correctly. It's pretty much like me now when I'm hiring people, because that's the other part of the story, hiring the good people.
Yes.
They come to me and they say, well, I want $25 per hour. I'm like, I don't mind to pay you $25. I don't mind to pay you $30 per hour. I mind that you are an excellent person, you are a responsible person, and I don't have to be overseeing you that much, because in that case, then no, I'd rather don't have you. I do it by myself,
Do it yourself. You already know how to do it. So
So
now, how did you get? So okay, we got that first study. You had a coordinator already for this, like a friend of yours. You said was helping.
she was good. She actually was studying nursing at some point, and she was helping me. But at the same time, there is a lot of component of being positive. I am the type of person that the world is falling apart, and I saying, I'm sure it's gonna work. I'm sure it's gonna work. Give it another try. Give it another day. I put a sign in my office that says persistent and determination. And every day I would look at that. And my husband used to tell me, this is kind of a lot of expenses on us right now. I like persist. Let's do it every day. Let's give it a try every day. And I used to tell that to my friend too. She's like, let's do this Alzheimer. At least we can get the screen failure, if we don't randomize anybody. And like, that was to me, like that day when she told me that, I will do anything on my side, anything to randomize. Even if I don't want money, I want to randomize the patient.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That reminds me of me.
Now I want to randomize a patient. Now it's not about the money because now I have a patient that's telling me I'm not capable of randomizing that patient. So, because she told me, I know this Alzheimer trial, they're so difficult. Those PET positive. Oh my God, we're not going to get it. But you know what? We'll make the money you'll get something from those screen failure. And that's what I said, the sponsor gave me 20 spots. Hey, you have 20 spots to screen. I didn't screen 20, I screened 40.
Wow. And where did you find these patients? Because these are not your patients. Like, where did you get them from?
Let me tell you, this patient, I did a TV ad of 30 seconds that I say, hello, my name is Dr. Gonzalez.
You did it. Wow.
Yeah, on TV.
How much was that?
It was $5,000 per month.
And
it was a 30-second.
And the sponsor
paid me for the first month, and then I paid out of my own pocket the second month.
Really?
And if I would have requested, they wouldn't reverse it to me because right now they are very happy with me.
So the TV ad worked. You just said 30 seconds. I'm Dr. Gonzalez. We're doing studies for Alzheimer's. Did you get that one IRB approved, or because it was generic, you didn't have to?
No. Everything has to be IRB. You don't never risk the chance of they closing your site because you didn't IRB approve.
Right.
It was very generic. It's extremely generic. Hello, this is my name, and if you're losing memory, call me to this number. That's it. It was generic, but I got the IRB approved.
Was it in English or Spanish, that one?
It was in Spanish, actually. So I not only have to get the IRB approved, I have to get the translation. I have to do an extra step.
Yeah.
And I put on the TV ad, and they charge me like $200 per 30 seconds. So I used to do it like once a day, and that ad brought me like amazingly, like so many patients. And then on top of that, we went to those elderly buildings, the one that you have to have 55 and older to qualify.
Yep. Residential, skilled nursing home, assisted living.
We actually had recruitment people that say, hey, go to this place, you get the IRB approved advertisement, you go there, and you kind of, you have like a refreshment, where it's hot here, so you kind of bring something to drink, and you just give this away. And people were kind of curious, okay, especially Alzheimer, people, they have seen that. They have seen their family members, they have seen their friends. And then when I have my first patient randomized, my 5, 6, 7 patients, I start asking them, where is your family? Because your family is at higher risk than the rest of the population. So they start bringing me their own family. And I have cousins and brothers and things randomized.
Wow. Okay. So how did you get past because whenever we go, we now network with a bunch of places around here for Alzheimer's, but oftentimes you get an administrator, somebody that's just doesn't want anything to do with that. And then if you get the doctors from there involved, like they either want to get paid or something, they don't want to lose their patients. So how did you get past that, those objections? It
is very competitive. Especially doctors are very competitive. And when they see you doing something that they are not doing, they are like, no, if I'm not doing it, nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to benefit. That's how, unfortunately, human behavior works.
Yeah.
We have this little inside jealousy, and they will block it. I have a lot of experience. The doctors block me from their patients. I have one time a trial for a skin infection, and I was giving an antibiotic for free to the patient, and the doctor called me and said, hey, that is my patient. You don't touch my patient.
Wow.
Yes, but the patient signed an informed consent. This is patient, patients, they have their own autonomy,
Yeah.
This is right. And you don't touch my patient.
They don't own, they act like they own the patient.
Exactly. This is my patient. And you don't bring my patient anymore. And I was kind of scared, like, what if he come here? He was yelling at me on the phone.
Wow.
Yeah, he was literally yelling. You would never think this patient is a professional, or And it's Jealousy is there. It's part of
I've been there. I've been there. So I'm trying to convey the message to people watching that it doesn't just, you don't just walk across the street and then everybody joins your study. Like most of the time you're going to get rejected. You're going to get yelled at. I've never been physically assaulted, but you might. But you'll get yelled at, right? And that's it. Then you got to go to the next one.
Right. You have to embrace rejection.
That's
That
right.
is my word. Embrace rejection. Every time there is a rejection, I am something good is coming.
Yes.
That's how I take it.
That's the
For
best
every
attitude.
rejection I get, I am like, I'm gonna get something good. Something will happen. It's the opposite. When I get something good, I'm like, oh my god, something bad is coming. You know?
Yeah, I'm like that too. Like me and Chris always talk about that. He's like the brake and I'm like the gas. Like we always have that balance. I think you need both. Just like when your friend was telling you about the worst case is screen failures, you still need that because that's smart business, but you need what you bring because that's how you grow. I mean, that's how you're successful and not just average business. Right.
Right.
Okay. So what happened? Okay. That study, when did you start hiring people? Cause that's the most important. And here's the problem with that. I've had clinics since 2005. When I'm coordinating and I'm the owner and I'm making 100% profit almost, I don't have to worry about quality assurance. It's me. That's it. When you start hiring people, right, they're not going to care as much about the business, and they shouldn't, as much as you. So how do you handle that?
So, number one, when I hire the person, I tell them that I'm not afraid of paying you. I'm afraid of you doing a responsible job. This is a long-term business. We're not here to have one contract, to make $1 million and to stop. No, we are here to our generations to come. This business is for, the next 20 years. So this is my life in here, and I take this very serious. So some people I have to fire because they were not responsible. And the good thing is that me and my husband, we have a good insight about the person. So we know when the person is responsible, we know when the person doesn't care. So when I have so many good people. After that happened, then I told that nurse friend of mine that gave me his, he agreed to be my subcontractor. I told him, listen, I'm going to screen 100 patients for this trial, okay? I'm going to pay you per visit. The visit has to be done perfect. And what I offered him was so much better what he was working as an employee. So he kind of was very motivated, and that was my first person that was working with me on that. If you pay an employee per hour and you're not there, unfortunately, 70% don't care.
Correct.
There is a couple of people that they care naturally. They are responsible people. Those people, I hold into them. I have like 3-4 people in my office that I love them. I tell them everything I have, I owe them to them because, and I try to make sure they're doing good personally. They're doing good.
Yeah, those are keepers.
Exactly.
I've got one right there. That's, when you get them, you keep it.
If they want to buy a house, I help them, trying to get a good deal and trying to get something. I want them to feel like family because I don't want them to leave. These are the natural people. They are responsible. I try to make sure these people stay with me. The other people, unfortunately, it's a high turnover. I don't take irresponsible behavior. I don't take it. I am constantly hiring people. I'm constantly firing people. It's how it works.
Are you do you hire slow, fire quick, or what do you do?
No, I am hiring constantly. I like to be overstaffed. I like to usually assign 1 to 2 trials per coordinator. And if I don't get a good impression, on the first month, immediately, if I see they are like, I had a coordinator that he was putting music, I'm like, hey, honey, you are not here to listen to music. You're here. Research is something that absorbs you so much. It's so much detail. There is no way you can be listening to music. I'm sorry, but it doesn't work like this. You know? And then he wanted me to pay $23 per hour. So I'm paying you $23 per hour. I am expecting from you $23 per hour. If the job you're doing is a $10 per hour job. So, you know, I am going to give you the money, but I expect you to produce that money and produce it in a brilliant way. Because this contract, I don't get it out of the blue. When I get a contract for you, Dan, I take this very seriously. This is a life opportunity. So we either take it or we either blow it. So regulatory is, of course, the most important thing. As doctors, we always focus on the clinical part and what is this patient is, you know, blood sugar is too high or this, and call the patient. But the main thing, is the regulatory. You don't have to be a doctor for that. The phrase that, if you ask my people in the office, what is the phrase that Dr. Gonzalez said the most, they will say, you don't have to be a doctor to know that. That is my phrase. You don't have to be a doctor, my dear. You know?
That's right. That's absolutely true. You can be a high school dropout and do regulatory. I mean, that's but it has to be done.
Right. I have a very good. You know, you have to talk to. I talk to my employee. What is their life experience? What they have been gone through. The people that suffer in life, unfortunately, they are the ones that do good. They are the loyal people. The people that have an easy life, like, you know, spoiled kids, like my kids are going to be spoiled, you know, they have everything in their life, their parents are doing everything for them. Those are most likely to don't care. They don't care. The people that suffer in their life and you're giving them a job, they will hold tight in that job and they will do anything for that job to succeed. And I try to tell everybody, this is your business. This is your little business. This is not only my business. Take it as it's your little business.
Do you hire? How many staff do you have now? 2 years later, what do you have?
2 years later, I almost have like 20 people in the office.
That's amazing. 20 people. Okay, so who are these people?
So I have 2 main regulatory person. I have one regulatory person that has 20 years experience. So, and then I have another regulatory with her that has less experience, but she's also good. The rest, I have like 7 good coordinator with experience.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And then I have like another 5 or 6 that are that I take fresh from scratch. You know, usually we are here in the Latin community. There is a lot of foreign doctors that come from Cuba, where I'm from. They don't speak English. That's the thing. So they are good they come the patient, they follow the protocol, they write the little notes, but when they can communicate with the monitor. But if, you know, they go to the investigator meeting, they kind of get around, you know, but if it's something deep, they kind of get, okay, that's kind of, now I don't feel comfortable, you know. But they are excellent, because I'd rather have a person that don't speak perfect English and is responsible. Have other people that they are native here. They are 25, 26, 27, 30 years old. And then they speak perfect English, but they don't care. They just don't care about the future. And then I go crazy. Like, how come you have a job and giving you the opportunity of your life? I'm telling this is an opportunity to grow. And you just don't take advantage of it.
Do your coordinators recruit? Do you have them recruit?
My coordinators, actually, I have recruitment. They don't care. Like I said, when you get paid per day or per hour or per salary, the less you see, the better. Unfortunately, I try to tell them, guys, you should be extremely happy every time we have a new patient, because that means you're having a job. I'm keeping you.
Right.
If I don't have a patient, I have to give you less hours or have to give you less days. At some point, I'm going to start getting rid of people. So anytime you see a patient, you praise that patient like this is the person hiring you. It's the patient. It's not me.
Right.
So that's why I say, when you see a patient, please, good attitude. Most people I have in the office now is good, but like I tell you, unfortunately, I have to fire and I have to hire. And
yeah.
Uh,
Do
is
you
this?
hire for experience, or do you hire like
Mhm.
research naive and then you train them?
I have the two good experience. I have the experienced person that I hire and is doing excellent, and I have the super experienced person that is lazy. That I hire the person and it doesn't work, or it doesn't want to work, or it's not on top of things. I don't care how much experience you have if you're not going to do a good job.
Yeah.
So what is for me your CV of 5 years of experience, and yet you are not on top of things. You're
Yeah.
not, you know,
And sometimes could be a bad thing. You don't know what site they came from, and they're going
right.
to bring their bad habits. Then you don't want to operate your site like that. I've interviewed many people like that too. Their CV
Right,
looks great on paper, and then when I ask them, what was the
right.
culture like in your other clinic, they say, oh, this person did regulatory, this person does recruiting. I only have to do this. That's a warning sign to me. Like, you don't want to do more than just filling out
Right.
source and seeing patients.
When I have the person, I said, "Hey, my dear, this is a job that if you have to jump, you jump." You know,
I like that. I might use that.
because I'm jumping all the time. So if
Yeah.
I'm, I'm giving the example there. It's not that I'm not there.
Yeah.
Me and my husband were giving example. My husband is a PI that is there analyzing patients' record, seeing patients, examining patients. We are giving an example to them, and we are working. It's not like we just go there and expect that everything is done. No,
Right.
we analyze the job. We analyze the inclusion exclusion. We are, working with the different recruitment. I have the recruitment and people I have is completely different than the coordinators because the recruitment has to work per patient they bring.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, this guy I have, he has so good experience. His CV was great. He's handsome, good looking, and everything. And then he will be all day on his iPhone.
Sounds like me. Wow. I'm beyond hiring for
Experience,
experience. I don't care anymore. I go for, and it's
right?
gonna sound cheesy, but I go for character, and
Right.
it's hard to assess that. I rarely hire someone with just one interview. I usually do like two or three before I
Right.
hire them, because
Yeah.
hints come out. And one of the things I've been trying to do lately when hiring is find out what they want. And
Exactly.
I don't want to hear what they think I want them to say. So
Right.
usually it takes more than one interview to get that trust before they can be honest. Like, hey, I want to one day be a CRA, or I want to one day open my site. Hey, great, I'll help you do that. Give me 2 or 3 years with me here. I will help you do that. And within that 3 years, it's my job to change your mind, to make you stay longer. That's what I'm looking for, but it's very hard to get to that point because if you hire someone and you don't know what their intentions are, it's very difficult to predict what you're gonna get. Maybe I've interviewed people that were perfect in the interviews, and then their first day, second day, first month on the job, the worst employees, and they
Right.
interviewed the best from all the candidates I had. So it's very tough. Hiring
So
is
what I'm
extremely
doing
tough.
because of that, I said this interview would last 1 month. It's not today. It's what will.
Wow.
So you're gonna come. I'm gonna pay you. You're hired, but you are on probation. You are not completely hired. I have to see you first. That's how I'm doing it now because of
Okay.
my bad experience. I was so happy with the people I hired with experience and everything, and then I realized they were on their phone all day and they were not taking care of my paper perfectly the way I wanted. I want my source document to be perfect. There cannot be
Maybe
mistake.
they're texting patients to come in.
I don't think so. My attitude immediately. So what I do, I say, hey, the last person I hired, she has zero experience. But I hired immediately just because she told me, hey, Dr. Gonzalez, I don't have a job. She's 32 years old. I arrived to this country when I was 16 years old. She speaks good English. I printed 100 CV and I'm giving it to all the clinics and I'm going one by one. So because I saw the determination she had, then I say, okay, I'm going to give you an opportunity.
Wow. So she just showed up with a CV.
She just showed up for CV. I didn't see the first time. The first time was seen by the front desk, but she came again, and she came again. I wanted to talk, and then
She came again. No one told her to come back.
right, no one thought. She came again, and I say, hey, I want to talk to her just because I like her persistence.
Wow. See, I tell my students this too. I have the CRA Academy, and if people are trying to get hired, I tell them, okay, email good, but go door knock at your clinics.
You have to.
And go with something. Don't just say, I want to intern. Even working for free is not
Right.
value for me if I have to teach you what you're doing. Like I have to like do something else, or I could be making money here and now I have to teach you how to do this. So if you know how to make a website, if you know how to recruit patients, if you know how to answer phones, I don't care. What can you do to have me take you on, even if it's free, with the understanding that eventually I will hire you. So, but people don't want to do that. They don't want to go, or maybe they go to like 2 doctors and then they get rejected by both, which you will, and then they quit and they say, I went to 2 places and they ignored me, so I'm done. I'm gonna do something else. You need to go to like hundreds.
Exactly. And she told me that I printed 100 of my CV, and then I'm going to clinics. And then like, okay, so what do you want? What do you want in your life? And she's like, I want to learn. I want to learn. I'm eager to learn. I'm like, okay, all I need is a good attitude. If you have a good attitude, we will train you. You're going to make minimal at the beginning, but if you're good, there is chances of growing. Every day she tell me, thank you for the opportunity.
She's still there?
Yeah, she's still there. She started a month ago only,
Okay.
But every time she has a chance, people appreciate. They are like, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for trusting me. I am learning so much. She has a good attitude. She's the person say, hey, go here. She move. Go. Immediately, But the person is like, okay. Yeah. The people that come back in the morning, I'm like, no. Everybody has to come here happy, smiling. I want good positive
That's
energy.
Right. That's right.
Everybody have to be happy. If you have a problem, please call me. I give you the day off, and we don't discount the day from you. You don't feel good, please don't come. But if you come to that door with negative energy and you're spreading your negative energy, I don't want it.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Are you a believer of weekly meetings or like team meetings? Now that you have a big team, right? Mm-hmm. Like when it's me and Monica and Kobe in the office, this is a new clinic. I mean, we meet every day, so I don't do meetings. But if I had like 20 people, which the most I've had at one site in the past was 9, we did have weekly meetings, right? But are you a believer of that or no?
We do unofficial meetings. Like, it's not that we say, hey, on Friday we'll have one meeting. It's like a lunchtime or so when everybody's on the kitchen, we kind of touch a subject, and then unfortunately, when you are on charge, people has to somehow respect you, and respect you sometimes can be fear. I don't want people to fear me. I want people to feel that I am there for them. I am little to help, but I want them to know that my job is not an easy job. I recently have a patient that was threatening me for something. I don't know, like, psychiatry patient,
Yep, I've had that.
So, if I'm not careful, I can lose my license. It depends my action, So I want them to know that, hey, I'm not here. Life is not easy for me. This that you see here is the result of constant work and constant commitment. Mm-hmm. And I expect the same from you. You can go early if you want. I don't really care if the people can go early. I care they are productive. They are productive. Some people come 6 hours and they accomplish so much. And some people are just there, like, they stay extra time and they just don't do anything.
Yeah. It's very interesting, this management philosophy. And I know it's getting late. I'll let you go. But this is such a good interview. Thank you for your time. In my 20s when I started, my management style was very different. I was naive, so I was very trusting of people. and then I got screwed over, and then I became like the opposite, right? Like kind of like a tyrant. And in my 30s, I calmed down and I realized, after enough experience. But for anyone watching or listening, you don't need to do all that. Just start from here. When you hire them, just like Dr. Gonzalez explained, 1 month probation, or like me, do multiple interviews until you figure out what they want. Once you find that keeper, the one that's a keeper, you have to understand you now work for them. Like, that's my attitude now. When they're good, like when they're keepers, my job changes. Like, you no longer work for me. I told Monica many times. She thinks I'm joking, but I'm serious. You don't work for me anymore. I work for you. You tell me what you need. Like, you needed me to go to Costco and get paper, I'll go right now. So that's what's changed with me. But you don't do that from the beginning. You do that when you find the keeper, right? So you don't manage everyone the same, as much as that's politically incorrect. It's not the case. Like, they have to earn it.
Right.
Well, this is good. So what's the goals? What's the plans for you? How many studies do you have right now?
Well, right now I have like 20 trials.
20?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Because I think that, once the company knows you, those CROs, they start sending you more trials, and they like you. They like your attitude, they like your, I try to be organized. And like I told you, I try to, my people there in the office, they're doing a good job. Like, as you know, it's just a challenge. It's a constant challenge, but, I am on top of things there. Now the goal is that we're moving from our office that is 2,500 square feet to a new office that is 7,500 square feet.
Wow, 7,500. That's bigger than my San Bernardino clinic that we bought with Chris. Wow, that's like 4,500. That's huge. That's a huge clinic. Are you using all of it, or you have space that you're...
I will use all of it because I'm going to use the floor for inpatient trials.
Wow, you're going to do inpatient trials. Do you have any? Have you had any?
Yes, I have. I have one inpatient trial right now. It's a skin infection. It's a phase 3. But you also sent me that trial.
Oh, actually. Okay. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. I only know like the most recent stuff.
Julie sent my information, and I take care of the rest.
Wow.
Julie sent information to whoever is requesting. Is a trial. It's an excellent trial because we are testing an antibiotic for a skin infection. So the patient has to be in the office for 10 days. It's an admission for 10 days. Okay. And it can be either a hospital or it can be a research unit with inpatient facility.
Did you have to get a special permit? I know every city is different. Like for you, overnight?
Yes, we have to have some sort of infusion type of permit.
Okay, infusion. Okay.
It's not, if you do an infusion clinic, it kind of cover you. But it's not easy to get that permit because they kind of consider some of them like a hospital.
Yeah, I know. We've been through that too. Like every city is different. I'm in Costa Mesa now, but in San Bernardino different. Anaheim is different. Downey, we have a clinic there. Okay, good. So that you're doing like really good. I'm really proud of you, Dr. Gonzalez. As much as I would love to take all the credit, I don't even do anything with the consulting. It's Chris and Julie primarily. But I think it really is much more you that has brought on your success. Because, I mean, we can, like I told you before we started recording, we do the same thing for all of our clients. And the variability of success is all over the place. I mean, you're obviously on one end of the spectrum, but we have some on the other end. And they don't stay. And there's different reasons for that. But for you... Clearly, the sponsors like your setup. They like that you're involved. They like that your husband's involved. I mean, 2 doctors having oversight, and all the sacrifices you make. You work literally 65 hours a week, maybe more, right?
No. I'm working constantly. I'm working since 7 a.m. until I go at night. I'm working right now. I'm talking to you about research. It's just but without you. Dan, let me tell you, I would have been just there in the shade without these people getting to know me. I mean, I know once you give me the opportunity, I take advantage of the opportunity. But if you don't give me the opportunity, if you don't present me to those sponsors, to those CROs, I would have not had the opportunity. Believe me, I was literally like ready to close the office before I met you, before I say, I want to give an opportunity to these guys, and I want to pay whatever fee and try for 12 months and see what happened. And my husband told me, well, you just, consider that money wasted. And I said, fine, I'm just going to write this check. It's going to be a business expense. It's going to be wasted money.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. And then, 6 months later, I was having my site initiation visit, and I was stop and rolling on that site.
That's amazing. Imagine if that didn't happen. That's crazy for me to think. And the reason this consulting started is because when I don't know if you know the story, but when I started in 2005, from 2005 till 2009, I did literally nothing. Just I was the coordinator. I didn't do any biz dev. Just whatever sponsor brought me study, I took it. I didn't do any biz dev. Once I started hiring people, I started going clinicaltrials.gov, but I didn't have the time. I knew what to do, but I didn't have the time. So I was looking to convince consultants to not just do QA, because they all want to do GCP audits, and I don't need that. Yes, you can do that, but also I will pay you more. You find me studies. None of them wanted. I was talking like $6,000. I'll pay you $6,000 every month. Do your whatever audits you want to do, but get me studies too. No, nobody wants to do that. So I thought, if I need this, I'm gonna create something when I can. And $1,000 a month is like what works for us. And I mean, I would have paid 5 times more than this when I started. I created a product that my former self needed. I wish I had this back then. So. But it doesn't mean you don't have to work. That's not what you don't just pay $1,000 a month and you stop working. That's not how it works either.
No, I have a cousin that she's actually working for a pharmaceutical company, and she was telling to her another cousin, just become a doctor. You're going to be there answering the queries and things in a pool. You're going to be to your pool, and you can be answering queries from the pool. If you dedicate your life to be a PI or a medical director for a pharmaceutical company. And I'm listening to that and like, wow, people don't know what they're getting themselves into.
They have no clue.
They have no clue.
Do you are you gonna be going to conferences now? Have you done that before?
A conference for what? For
like research conference, because like all those conferences.
Investigator meetings?
No, not investigator meetings. No, those ones you go to. But
there is a summit. There is that now here in Boca Raton. There is a summit. It's called
Site Solution Summit.
Site Solution Summit.
I haven't been, but I heard good things.
I'm going to that one. It's local. And again, I'm giving you all my secrets. You're asking me things.
Site Solution. But guess what? I got a better secret for everybody. So next year, in Orlando, August, we're actually signing the contract now with the hotel at the SeaWorld Renaissance in Orlando. You're the first one I'm telling, besides Chris. We're doing a Clinicon, our own conference every year. So we want you. You're in Florida. You're going to come. We'll have you teach a workshop. All right. We'll work it out later, but we'll get you in. And then you can meet a bunch of sponsors there. We're going to do like speed dating, where sponsors who need sites can talk for 5 minutes and then they switch partners. Like it'll be a conference that I wanted, that I wish I had back then. So conferences is like the next step for me, but I think there's a lot of opportunities there as well for networking. So I've heard good things about the Site Solutions Summit too.
Yes, and if you need me ever to talk from the PI side, the PI story, like a PI doing the real thing there, let me know and I'll give them my input,
will. You absolutely will. We will make it happen with you.
Anyway, I want to tell you that I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your service. I'm really grateful for you guys. For Chris, he is doing so good with my budgets. I don't really even think of it. He always do it for me. And honestly, I don't need to say this if it doesn't. I don't have time in my life for hypocrisies. I'm telling you, I am grateful for, I did sign off with you that, since I did, and I'm grateful you keep sending my site for connections and for feasibilities with the CROs and the companies. I think that I did a lot on my side, but without you and your connecting me with those companies, I would have not been able to achieve that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it means a lot. Like once the clients are in, I do like a few follow-ups with them, but like really it's Chris and the other staff that interact with you, like Amy, Julie, Vince. I even got my wife helping out now. But like I didn't know how good you were doing until you sent me that email. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I only know you from Snapchat. I know you because of Snapchat and Facebook. Like that's how I know you.
Yeah. Okay, Danny. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You're doing great. You need to keep it up. eSource, consider eSource. I am too. And we'll be in touch soon and see you at the conferences. And thank you everyone for watching and listening. And do you want people to reach out to you or no?
I don't mind. They can ask me questions. I will take some time of, minutes of my time and answer. I don't mind helping people, or I don't mind sharing my good experience and my bad experience. So that's fine.
So I'll put the link to your website underneath the video. And on the podcast, you might get a lot of people reaching out. Even years later, people will be reaching out. So
that's fine. That's not a problem.
Okay, good.
I love to help people. It's part of, some people are skeptical about it. Some people don't really believe it, but this is what makes me happy,
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for watching. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.